Coming up next on KPBS Evening Edition, the city of Escondido has taken a lot of heat for its DUI checkpoints. Now, there's a new report about the towing company contracts connected with those checkpoints.
And worries about a dangerous bacteria have closed down a school in Carmel Valley today.
And lots of hopeful people are forking over lots of cash for a shot at tonight's record-breaking Mega Millions jackpot.
KPBS Evening Edition starts now.
Good evening, I'm Dwayne Brown.
And I'm Amitha Sharma, in for Joanne Farian.
For years, the city of Escondido has been running controversial DUI checkpoints. Now, it's accused of illegally profiting from the contracts with tow companies that seize cars at those checkpoints. Today, Escondido's finance director said the city should take another look at those contracts. Fronteras reporter Adrian Florido is following this. He joins us from the KPBS News Center. Remind us why the city is being scrutinized for these checkpoints, Adrian.
Well, the city obviously needs tow trucks to seize the cars of drunk and unlicensed drivers, so it has contracts with tow companies. Now, the city is not actually supposed to be profiting from these checkpoints, but for the last several years, it has been increasing the fee it charges tow companies for the right to get all that business. It's increased the fee from $25,000 in 2004 to $75,000 this year. But the city's actually been towing fewer cars, so the question is, if it's towing fewer cars but charging more money, where is all that extra money actually going?
So the city's finance director says they should reassess those contracts. Why now?
Well, the city's come under pressure from the ACLU. The organization's been opposed to these checkpoints for a while because they think they target undocumented immigrants. But now the organization is questioning whether the city has actually been lying about how much it costs to run these checkpoints in order to justify those higher fees. Today, the finance director said that's not happening, but he did say the city should take another look at how much it's charging the tow companies. The ACLU actually wants an independent audit because it doesn't trust that the city can be honest about how much it's charging itself.
All right, Fronteras reporter Adrian Florido.
A former California campaign treasurer has pleaded guilty to looting millions from the accounts of dozens of Democratic organizations and candidates, including San Diego Congresswoman Susan Davis. Prosecutors say Kindy Durkee took more than $7 million to pay her mortgages, business expenses, and even bills from Disneyland and the Los Angeles Dodgers. She faces up to 14 years in prison. She's also facing lawsuits from candidates. Congresswoman Davis says she lost $160,000 to Durkee. Senator Dianne Feinstein believes she lost as much as $5 million. Prosecutors say it's the largest political embezzlement case in state history.
Defense Secretary Leon Panetta visited Camp Pendleton today. He spoke out against military budget cuts. Panetta's visit included a lunch with sailors and Marines on board the amphibious assault ship USS Peleliu. He says those troops will play an important role in national defense in the future, and he told them Congress would be putting a gun to America's head if it allows military budget cuts.
This morning, the Border Patrol arrested more than a dozen suspected illegal immigrants in Coronado after getting a fake distress call. Someone reported a boat in trouble near the Silver Strand. The Coast Guard didn't find any problems, but Border Patrol agents say they found 15 men and women on a beach north of the Hotel del Coronado. They say the fake distress call may have been intended as a diversion to keep anyone from noticing the group on the beach.
A private school in Carmel Valley was closed and scrubbed down today because of concerns about a drug-resistant bacteria. Officials at Cathedral Catholic High say a student may have MRSA. It's a dangerous infection spread by touching someone infected or objects the person touched. Classes and activities have been canceled through the weekend to get the campus sanitized. School is scheduled to resume on Monday.
San Diego State has gotten rid of its Jaguar. Zuma was introduced 2 years ago as a kinder, gentler sidekick to the school's longtime Aztec warrior mascot. Zuma was supposed to entertain kids, but critics said having two mascots got confusing, even for Sports Illustrated, which used Zuma instead of the warrior in its NCAA coverage last year. So now Zuma's been zapped, and the school is back to just one mascot.
Mega Millions fever striking San Diego. In just a short time tonight, we may have the $640 million winner, but more than likely, experts say there will be a few winners because of the huge number of tickets sold. We talked to a few San Diegans who are hoping to beat the odds.
If I don't play, I won't win. And they keep telling us the odds on winning, but somebody's going to win. I could be that 100 million person.
I think it's fun. It gives people hope, I guess.
You get 5 numbers in your mega, and that's the only way you can win the big jackpot is you get your mega numbers. Yeah.
Well, I went to dinner with my friends last night, and we all decided we'd put $1 in, and then put $2 in. So we'll get quick picks, and we'll try our luck at the mega. Probably not going to win, but it sure is fun thinking about it.
Strategy is quick pick and 1 for each, and maybe they'll win. Well, with that much money, whatever they want, they'd be set for life. So, they're my granddaughters.
Good luck, everybody.
The Mega Lotto is being played in 42 states tonight. If the winning ticket is sold in California, it means more than $100 million for public education. We've got more about your odds of winning on our website, kpbs.org. Did Nathan Fletcher gamble away his chance of becoming mayor by dropping out of the Republican Party? That's one of the topics Amitha's discussing at the Evening Edition Roundtable.
Healthcare reform may be pronounced dead by June after this week's arguments before the U.S. Supreme Court over whether Americans can be required to get insurance. About 600,000 San Diegans are without medical insurance and up to 46 million Americans. We'll talk about what happens to them if the justices strike down the law. And he was a rock star in the California Republican Party, but this week, San Diego mayoral candidate Nathan Fletcher filed for divorce from the GOP. Is it a genuine move or a ploy to get more votes? Joining me to talk about tonight's topics are KPBS health reporter Kenny Goldberg and KPBS Metro reporter Katie Orr. Kenny, let's start with you. There are 600,000 uninsured people in San Diego County. If health care reform goes away, how do they get care when they get sick? And what happens to them? Who pays for it?
Well, we're all paying for it now. If they have Medi-Cal or another publicly subsidized plan, we're all paying for it through our taxes. If health care reform gets thrown out, what happens to them? That's a hell of a question. Medi-Cal won't go away, so they'll still get care through Medi-Cal or through one of the county's other programs. But I think it's what happens to everybody if they throw health care reform out. That's really the crux of the issue.
In terms of costs?
In terms of costs, in terms of benefits. I mean, right now, one of the benefits of health care reform is that you can get free preventive services, a colonoscopy, pap smear, breast exams, so on and so forth. You get free inoculations now if you're a child.
So that's already taken effect, and
yes,
people are accessing that. How many? Do you have a sense of that?
Well, we don't know yet, but I mean, a lot of people have taken advantage of some of the provisions of health care reform already, and the major ones, when we're going to have a health care exchange where people can shop and compare plans and try to get some government subsidies for their health care, that's going to kick in 2014. So there's a lot of things ready to go.
Well, Kenny, aren't people really supportive of the idea that insurance companies can't reject people with pre-existing conditions, that everyone has to get some kind of health care?
Right, and that's in place now thanks to health care reform for children, and that will kick in for adults in 2014. That there'll be no more pre-existing conditions.
So are there some benefits that women in particular are really taking advantage of under health care reform?
Well, as I mentioned, they get free mammograms now, they get free pap smears, other preventive services that everybody gets thanks to health care reform. So if you show up to the doctor, you're getting your annual checkup, a lot of those services that you'll get is no cost to you now.
Most political pundits seem to think, by the tone of the questions by the Supreme Court justices this week, that this health care law is going to get struck down. What's the alternative if that happens?
It depends, first of all, if they strike it down, and it depends how they strike it down. They could reject and declare unconstitutional the individual mandate portion of health care reform and leave the rest of the law intact. Or they could reject the whole thing and tell Congress, you guys have to start over. If they do that, then it's anybody's bet as to what happens.
Well, Kenny, I guess I don't understand what is different about this mandate. The government tells us to do a whole bunch of things. You know, we have to wear a seatbelt when we ride in a car. We have to have car insurance. We have to go through screening if we want to get on an airplane. Why is making everyone have health insurance different?
Well, people that argue against the laws say that requiring somebody to buy a product is what makes it different, and they say that's unconstitutional. It's an unconstitutional expansion of congressional powers to force Americans to buy a particular product. Now, supporters of health care reform and some of the liberal judges would say, well, health care is a different kind of commodity. It's a special commodity that needs special treatment because everybody needs health care at some point in their lives. So why not have everybody have skin in the game and purchase health insurance so we could try to bring down costs? That's the theory.
Now, polls show that most Americans think that there should be some type of health care reform, but they are deeply divided on what that should look like. What do you think the reaction is going to be if this is struck down?
Well, there's going to be a lot of furor on both sides no matter what happens, especially this is a presidential year. I mean, people are going to take this to the hilt. I mean, you saw some of the protests at the Supreme Court now. I mean, that's going to be nothing compared to what they're going to do if they throw it out or even if they uphold it. So I think things are going to go a little bit crazy, actually, depending on what they decide.
You've done a pretty amazing job of covering this issue over the years. You've talked to patients, you've talked to regular people about this. But what has the medical community told you? What are doctors, what are nurses saying about health care reform and what President Obama has gotten passed?
Well, I think a lot of the doctors I've talked to think things haven't gone far enough, that they were really hoping for a single-payer system, that everybody would have insurance, it would be like Medicare for everybody. Well, they couldn't do that politically, so that didn't happen. But I think most of the doctors and providers I've talked to, they're very supportive of it because it expands coverage for people. We get government subsidies in a couple of years, free preventive care. I mean, that's all for the good.
Katie, let's start with you. There's a big bombshell this week. San Diego mayoral candidate Nathan Fletcher says he's leaving the Republican Party to become an independent. He says that he's tired of petty politics. But we all know that partisanship has existed for quite a long time. Why is he doing this now?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. He says that he basically reached a tipping point. He couldn't continue on in a party that he felt, as you said, was too partisan, that didn't allow him to form coalitions with members from the other party, basically wanted him to play games. The more cynical view of that would be that, or people would say the more realistic view of that, is that he was trailing in the polls. He wasn't catching up to Councilman Carl DeMaio, who is the front-running Republican at this point, and he needs to do something drastic. The primaries are just over 2 months away, and if he has any hope of making it into one of those top 2 slots, he needed to do something, and this was his big move to, as you said in your intro, divorce himself from the Republican Party and strike out on his own and hope to maybe pick up some of those voters who aren't comfortable with any of the other candidates.
Any sense on how this has helped him so far?
Well, there was one poll that was conducted. Channel 10 used Survey USA to do a poll, and it showed a net gain of about 8% for Fletcher, a bump of 8%. I have to say, though, there are people who have criticized that poll, the wording of the poll. They didn't compare Fletcher to any of the other candidates at that time. They simply asked, are you more likely to support him now? They also, the word support is important. They didn't say, are you more likely to vote for him? Are you more likely to support him? Which some people have said means it's not a really good indicator. It'll be interesting to see in the coming weeks if it really does have an impact, if more polls come out, if his fundraising goes up. Those sorts of indications might tell us whether or not this really will have an impact.
But Katie, he's been attacked by some Republicans in the power structure as being a turncoat and abandoning the party. But what does his move tell Republicans about their lack of tolerance of some of his views?
Well, he will say that he's not really leaving the Republican Party. They have moved too far right for him. And so that is his message, that, he should be able to be a moderate Republican, to be able to, form alliances or, with people across the aisle and still be a Republican and not feel like his party is looking down on him for that. Whether or not the Republican Party agrees with that or whether they take it to heart, I don't know. It's something, and David Brooks mentioned Nathan Fletcher in his New York Times column this morning, talking about how he is a more moderate person and maybe there's not room for him in the party anymore. So it'll be interesting. And David Brooks was asking whether or not Fletcher was essentially a test case. Are there going to be more people doing this? Are people going to vote for him now that he has done this? And is bringing more national attention to the race.
Well, parties exist to win. So the question is it going to cause the Republican Party to reflect more deeply? Should it, Kenny?
Well, if I was a Republican in power, I would reflect on it, certainly. But from what I can tell, they'd rather attack than reflect.
Well, and you have to say, though, too, the polls did not have Nathan Fletcher as a Republican up there. Carl DeMaio was leading the way.
That's right. The California Republican Party actually endorsed Carl DeMaio 2 weeks ago, and one has to think that his decision to switch parties, Fletcher's decision to switch parties, played into...
Right. Well, Fletcher told me in an interview that he didn't expect to get the endorsement. However, he went to them. He tried to, win it. It didn't happen. I had asked them, well, why didn't you switch before, before this endorsement came, if that's really something you weren't expecting to get. But he just, says that this has been building for him, and perhaps maybe that was the final straw. I don't know, or maybe it was more calculated.
We're going to have to close it there. Kenny Goldberg, Katie Orr, thank you for speaking.
A national music contest named a San Diego group the best teen band in the country. We'll sit in on a jam session with Jazz Avenue in just a moment. This is KPBS Evening Edition.
Tonight on KPBS at 8, PBS's longest-running public affairs series, featuring Washington's top journalists analyzing the week's news. Washington Week. Then at 8:30 on Need to Know, the latest on the economy, the environment and energy, health, security and culture. Broadcast media and the web unite. And at 9, the battle over the future of News Corp, Rupert Murdoch's reputation and his family fortunes. On Frontline. That's tonight on KPBS.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next news hour, the first steps toward press freedoms and open public debate in Burma, plus Shields and Brooks. That's Friday on the PBS NewsHour.
Today, I'm in Vermont dairy country to discover how our energy can come from the most unlikely of sources. Find out on the new PBS series, America Review.
KPBS Evening Edition is made possible by Joan and Erwin Jacobs and by
Not many teenagers get excused from school to play a gig in Germany, but 5 students from the School of Creative and Performing Art did just that.
They were joined by a graduate of the school, too. KPBS Arts reporter Beth Accomando stopped by SCPA for an after-school jam session with Jazz Avenue.
If you want an argument for keeping music in schools, then look no further than the School of Creative and Performing Arts in Paradise Hills. The school's music program includes a jazz class and after-school program. This provided the perfect environment for 5 students and 1 alumnus to form Jazz Avenue at the end of last year, so they could compete in School Jam USA. Out of more than 100 bands to qualify nationally, they placed first and were crowned Best Teen Band in the USA, says keyboardist Haram Garza.
We got $5,000 for the school, $1,000 for ourselves, and a trip to Germany, which we're leaving when, guys? Tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, Germany! That was 2 weeks ago. The boys returned to school on Tuesday, says music teacher Tamara Page. She runs the jazz program at SCPA and accompanied the band on the trip.
It was magical. It was like being at the Grammys. I'm sure the Grammys are much bigger, but for us, it was that big of a moment. It was huge.
Sax player John Avery confesses he was a little nervous.
Because I had to announce the group and announce the songs. And I didn't know what was going to go on when I gave a big shout out to the beautiful German women that live there with our newest Latin song.
Really new, says bass player Mark Cabo.
We just finished writing that song that week, so that was our first time actually performing it as a whole. I mean, it was definitely kind of intimidating because we didn't get to practice before. I mean, we had the 3 days before we performed, so it was like going into it, it was like, oh, do I remember how to play it?
But at least they weren't competing, says drummer Tyler Crutel.
It was in a country we've never been in before, so we didn't know how they were going to react. But since we kind of already won, we weren't super worried about, you know, what like the judges thought or anything like that, because we weren't competing anymore. We were just opening up for the other groups to compete. So we weren't nearly as nervous this time around.
It was hard at first because when we play together, when Jazz Avenue plays together, we tend to play in smaller stages to communicate better. But this stage, I mean, I was on one side of the stage, my bass player was on the opposite side.
That suited guitarist Josh Vasquez just fine.
I was like running around, I was jumping, I was like doing power, I was sliding on my knees, and I could do everything I wanted to do. So the extra space really helped the energy a lot and really lends to the performance.
It was like WWE, you know, you got those huge TVs, like, and then you see your face on it, it's like, whoa, I got that many pimples, you know? Oh no.
Chaz Cabrera is the only alumnus. He plays alto sax. Vasquez says they may have been playing jazz, but they all felt like rock stars.
And because there was a crowd of people, there was a gate with security, so it felt like an actual like rock concert. It was something that I've never experienced before, but I hope I'll be able to experience again. It felt good knowing that, you know, we come from America and jazz comes from America. So we brought jazz over there and, you know, showed our stuff.
I mean, during the sound check, some German dude from another band got up and came to us and was like, how old are you guys? Oh, they're 17 to 18. You guys are amazing, you know? And even one of the guest bands from Germany, professional already, mentioned us in their set while they were performing.
They said in German, Jazz Avenue was brilliant, and we were like, what'd they say? What'd they say?
The boys also got to be tourists during their stay in Germany.
It's like an iPhone, and it's Germany, and it shows the different little places. There's Heidelberg, that was my favorite place.
And we also went to Bonn to visit Beethoven's home. This is his house. He walked around here as a kid. I'm probably stepping on the same floor he was stepping on. And I was looking at all the artifacts they had. They had all the hearing aids he used, and he had the viola that he played with some, I forgot which orchestra he played with, but they had the original viola he played, and I was sitting there thinking, man, his fingerprints are probably still on that thing.
We learned a lot about him, about his pianos and the ivory keys. You could tell that he like played it so hard that there were little grooves in the keys.
It definitely opened my mind up to that there's more in the world than just where we grew up.
It also opened their eyes to the possibilities for Jazz Avenue.
Well, you know, I was talking with one of the band members after they did the performance, and everyone was just on this, you know, natural high after that. And I said, now you're going to go out and create more experiences like this for yourself, because, I mean, as big as this was, it's only the beginning for them.
Jazz Avenue was also asked to go on tour in Germany in September, says Avery.
I don't know how many like teenagers get asked to go on tour every day, but I know that was the first time I've ever been asked. Just thinking about it makes me really, really wish that I could go back.
That was KPBS Arts reporter Beth Accomando.
She's posted more about Jazz Avenue on our website, kpbs.org.
The big Mega Millions drawing is just about 1 hour away. What would you do if you won?
We've got some of your answers coming up in the public square. This is KPBS Evening Edition.
The road to feeling energetic can be fun, effortless, and best of all, it can be almost instantaneous.
Join fitness expert Kathy Smith for Ageless Energy and learn how to move stronger, eat smarter, and stand slimmer.
Saturday morning at 11:30 on KPBS.
I love KPBS because when I wake up in the morning and that radio station goes on, 89.5 goes on, I know that I am going to get information that I can trust, that I can respect, that I can value, and I know I'm getting the truth.
Coming up on Finding Your Roots, educator Jeffrey Canada and journalist Barbara Walters learn their true family names.
And it was Canada.
So I'm Barbara Warnwetter. I like Barbara Warnwetter.
Finding Your Roots.
Sunday at 8 on KPBS.
Welcome back to the Public Square on KPBS Evening Edition. Mega Millions mania has taken hold. Americans are queuing up to spend an expected $1.4 billion on Mega Million lottery tickets. They're hoping to win the record's $640 million jackpot. What would you do if you won the lotto loot? Would you sock it away or compulsively spend? And would you quit your job? Bethany Franks wrote to tell us on Facebook, I would stay home with my baby. Also on Facebook, Milka Pajovic says, I work from home as a freelance writer and I love what I do. So yes, I'd keep my job, although I might spend more time on personal writing projects than writing for others. And on Twitter, Dave Moss of San Diego City Beat says he'd go into space. Virgin Galactic tickets are only $200K. Drop in the bucket. You can weigh in on the conversation by following us on Twitter, liking us on Facebook, and of course, you can email us.
Recapping tonight's top stories, Escondido's finance director says the city should reassess its contracts with towing companies who impound cars at DUI checkpoints. Tow companies are getting charged more but towing fewer cars. And Escondido has been accused of making an illegal profit. Today's report says there hasn't been any profit but recommends the city take another look at the fees. Defense Secretary Leon Panetta visited Camp Pendleton today. He also had lunch with Marines and sailors on the USS Peleliu. Panetta spoke out against military budget cuts. And a private school in Carmel Valley is getting sanitized after reports a student may have a dangerous staph infection. School officials at Cathedral Catholic High were told the student may have MRSA, a bacteria resistant to antibiotics. Classes were canceled today but will resume on Monday.
You can watch or comment on any of the stories you saw tonight on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition.
And thanks for joining us. You have a great night. High surf and strong winds are expected around the county this weekend. We leave you with a look at the forecast.